Fumbling the puck, but in playoffs, he's been a magician with the puck. Trottier is starting to get back to his true form as well, doing that bumping and grinding. He took a...
Important to the Islanders scoring the first goal of that period, Bryan Trottier. Now, Bryan, I had alluded to you that I thought it was one of the best periods of the playoffs so far, but you saw something out there you didn't like.
Well, our passing can be improved on a lot. We're passing that puck around the ice. It's not with much authority. They're a little soft, and they're bouncing and they're rolling, and the guys are just going to start questioning themselves whether they're going to get a good pass or not. When that starts creeping in, you're doubtful and you're hesitant and you're not confident. You're not charging. You're not aggressive out there. And when you pick up your passing and you're moving that puck hard and sharp and crisp, your whole flow seems to be moving a little better, and we just have to improve in that area.
Now, the Islanders got an early power play. Just about the time that the power play expired, the Islanders were able to get a goal on the board. This was a hard work effort indeed.
We had about 3 or 4 guys digging for it there. You got Bosch, you got Denny, you got Boss again. This guy's just pushing and shoving around there, and I knew Clarkie was open on the far side. And what a nice play he made. I thought he was going to slap it right away, but he pulled it back to his backhand and gave himself a whole open side of the ice there.
Now you can see he waited for Steve Penny to fall out of the play and then fade away. We're watching Guy Lafleur, one of the great players ever to play this game, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the 26th straight game that he hasn't scored a goal. Could you possibly imagine, you're a great scorer, what that feels like?
I wouldn't want to try to even think about it if it ever happened to me. There's been times where I've struggled to get a goal, and I'm sure he's starting to feel a lot of pressure, not only from himself or his teammate, but he wants to do well. He wants to go out there and contribute, and he feels his teammates are looking towards him and the fans are looking towards him. Every time he grabs a puck, the Montreal fans are waiting in expectation as to what he's going to do with it, whether he's going to make a great play or score the goal himself. And I tell you, that puts a little added pressure on him, and it's unfortunate because you still see he's got great speed. He's moving well out there, and it's just a matter of, you want to say time, but it's just a matter of getting a break here or there maybe.
Bryan, the big check against Bob Gainey in Game 4. I don't want to know whether you meant it or anything like that. I just want to know how you keep a clear head with all the attention that's paid to that. And then you head back to Montreal and the fans are all against you.
Well, it was an unfortunate incident. That's the way I looked at it, because I honestly didn't mean to catch his head in there. And that's where the intent to injure comes in, and I left my feet. And I think those two things made it look a lot worse than it actually was. And when I committed myself to the check, he had actually bent over a little more, and he had pulled himself out of the pack a little bit more. And I know he didn't see me coming, but I didn't mean to catch his head in there, and that made it even, and the fact that I got a 5-minute major on top of it made it look even more like an intentional injury. But it was a penalty. I sat in the penalty box for 5 minutes. Thank goodness third player lost his composure a little bit and took 4 minutes, because it negated a lot of the power play they might have had, because it could have pulled themselves right back into the game. But the press, I think, made a big deal of it. Their management made a big deal of it. I think all to spark their team. And again, there was no intention of me going out there to purposely maim Bob or anybody else on the Canadian team.
Well, you've played against Bob for so long. I think he knows what type of player you are, and you know what type of player he is, and he never said a word, and I think you summed it up pretty well. Now, after this first period, the Islanders lead 2-0. In Montreal the other night, you had a 2-0 lead, and it took a Montreal goal, as some of your players said, to wake the team up. How do you prevent that from happening tonight?
Well, I think we just have to go back and remember that goal. I think that's the biggest thing. I think, our defense are the first ones to admit it. They got caught sleeping. And, we had a chance to get clear the puck out of this, and it's always right around the 2 blue lines where a lot of goals are scored, whether the other team gets to clear it out of there, out of harm's way, or whether you're able to keep it in the other team's zone and catch their players coming out of their zone. And that's where a lot of goals are created, and we know that, and we just have to be well aware of those 2 key areas out on the ice.
After a slow start, you're back in the groove. It must feel good. Thanks for staying with us, Bryan.
No problem, man.
Bryan Trottier of the New York Islanders, who lead after 1 period of play by 2-0. And for being our guest, he's going to get this new Kodak disc camera. Just pull it out of your pocket, and it's ready, aim, shoot, and smile, because you're going to get it with the new Kodak disc camera. Stanley Cup playoff history, we go back to 1980. The first time a Swedish-born player was on a Stanley Cup winning team. That was Stefan Persson. Tonight, we're watching 5 Swedes. 1 for Montreal and Mats Naslund. And along with Persson, there's Thomas Jansson, Mats Helin, and Anders Kaller of the New York Islanders. Upcoming, Bobby Orr and the Hockey Legends. Part 2.